So I'm making this video for the third time. First time I just stopped right in the middle of recording because I was like, okay, it's getting too much. And second time the video went up to like 20 minutes and I don't really want the video to go that long. So let's just get into the balance council patch. I find this patch to be really bad, especially than the first one. First one was like the whole community frustration, so I understood what's happening and stuff. This patch is actually pretty bad. So let's go with power, an increase in power, which is actually a buff. So let's go. The first card is the Great Oak. Well, this is a really good change. This card was not seeing much play. It sometimes pops up in the ladder, but now I think this will be a good push for this card to be played more. It's a good, very good Scoia'tael card. Second one, you know what, I'll talk about all Nilfgaard changes later on. I'll timestamp it. Reaver Hunters. So yes, the community is being fair to this card, which I really like, and this is exactly what the Balance Council should do. Be fair to cards that are unfairly nerfed or unfairly buffed. So yes, all you Reaver Hunter players, yeah, you can go back to being annoying again. Alba, I'll talk about Nilfgaard cards later. Critters. Critters, so in my first video when I saw this, I really was very mad, so I'm not gonna be that. I'm just really surprised to see this stupid card being buffed. Did this card deserve a buff? Yes. Did it deserve a buff right now? No. Absolutely not. So which Scoia'tael deck was crying for this card? This is basically a 10 for 4 in 4 turns, and who wanted this deck? Devotion Symbiosis doesn't want this because there's no Devotion Symbiosis. That thing is dead. And Harmony doesn't want it. Reason why Saskia could pull this thing out, like Saskia Commander, so you literally lose value by putting this card in. It's such a dumb change. You can play this card in maybe like a Precision Strike deck with where you can spawn a lot of stuff, but this is a very unnecessary change, and I don't know how this got voted up this high. Really, the community actually wanted this card, and I'm so surprised to see the community that I know didn't even vote for this card. Who the fuck voted for this card? It's such a weird vote, and enough community voted for this card to be high. So that means I don't know what is going on. Is it the Polish community? Because I think I seen Chinese community, and that is Chinese community did horrible, really bad rewards to Nilfgaard. So, and I'll talk about it later. So yeah, so in buff, this I think is very weird, and the only good buff is this. The rest three are rewards. So power decrease, which is a nerf. Madam Marquis Serenity, yes, she deserved to be 4 powered now because she's a very powerful card, powerful engine, powerful thinner, and even I voted for this card, so sure, I can see why this is here. Rainfawn of Artery, wow, you guys and you Nilfgaardian players. Joachim, Lord Riptide, okay. Lord Riptide getting 1 point nerf, I can live with it, but see, it's so sad that monsters have only one deck that is powerful and that is getting nerfed, because I know Ogroids got even more nerfs in this patch. But yeah, I understand the frustration with this card, sure. Incubus got 1 point nerf. I think even I voted for this card, and sure, it's completely fine. This is a warranted change, I guess, because he came out as a 5 for 5, and now he plays for way more than the value because of Ogroid decks and all. So that's power increase and decrease in by +1 and -1. I'll talk about Nilfgaard later. Now let's go to provision buffs or nerfs. +1 provision is actually a nerf. So Magic Compass, yes, as I predicted, Magic Compass definitely got nerfed. Nobody wants this dumb card to be 9. It's kind of delusional to make this a 9p card and expect the community to be fine. Golden Necker. Another prediction of mine became right because I predicted if Magic Compass goes to 10, people are gonna be so mad and make this card 10. So, yep. Good job, guys. I didn't want this Golden Necker to be 10 at all because this card was literally, I played over 50 games last season. I faced them 3 times, like 3 times, that to NR. This was not an issue at all. Right now, because of Magic Compass, now Golden Necker is now 10p. So, yeah, it is what it is. We just have to accept it. Thank God they didn't go for Sirenova too. It'll be insanely stupid. Mutagenerator, I think this is still okay. Like, I don't think Mutagenerator decks are gonna get issue with this increase in provisions. Reverse cards, this is pretty good change. I voted for this. I think this no bronze units should play extra bronze units and keep spamming it. So this is absolutely a fine change and well deserved. This card is very good. Enraged Cyclops. So Enraged Cyclops is a 5 provision card now. Okay, so I thought about this card being a 5 provision card, but then I thought no, it's fine staying in 4. The reason being this card is only viable in Ogroid deck. But I understand, I have no issue with this change. Even if it is a 5p card, it's completely fine for me, so sure. Like, I'm being fair to all the faction and I can understand why people have issue with certain cards. And now with provisions decrease. A Nilfgaard card. Nilfgaard card. Nilfgaard card. Nilfgaard card. Wow. Open Sesame. Let's just talk about that. Open Sesame being 5. This is actually a nerf to certain decks in Scoia'tael if you think this is a buff. I'm fine with this change, in my opinion, but and also the reason why I think it's a nerf is because Shady Vendor will pull this instead of pulling the strings. Pulling the strings is a really strong card, and that deck too is a very strong deck. It's a bit advanced deck to play, and that's why you don't see much of it. Shady Vendors will not make pulling the strings again. Instead, they will get a Sesame, so that's kind of a nerf. But yeah, and it's good. And Ixora and Acrontia got a nerf in the last patch, so I think sending this back to 5 is actually completely fine. So there we go. These are the changes. Now we're gonna talk about Nilfgaard problem. So, like I said, I saw the Chinese community votes and I was really surprised to see like a lot of people just voting for Nilfgaard, reverting it back. So let's just go to the change one by one from Nilfgaard, right? Nausicaa, so I think this is a really bad, really bad revert, and I think it's Nilfgaard faction players are just desperate for their favorite cards to be strong again. I think it's a very unhealthy way to play the game. Like, you guys are really desperate just so that you just want your cards to be back. Alba Armored Cavalry, you guys really want one tempo? Really, your logs need one tempo to go on? Initially I never even had a problem with this going to 4th P, or I didn't care about it. It doesn't really matter to me. But now seeing this back to 5p just shows how desperate Nilfgaardian players are. Like, one tempo really, or let's say 2 tempo, because you have 2 of this, right? Really, your logs need 2 tempo. How desperate, Yes, we want to have. This is the mentality of Nilfgaardian players, right? They want to have their own fun. They don't give a shit about how balanced the game is, or any of that. It's just stupid to see this. Rainfawn of Atre. Okay, this is a very dumb change, I feel. Because in TH decks, nobody plays Rainfawn. No one puts Rainfawn in hospitality decks. I think I've only faced him once, that too long ago. And you guys buffed him. It's so dumb. This card isn't that good. And your Tucson deck is much better without him. You have so many other cards that are like way better than him. That's why people don't add him in the deck. But sure, Nilfgaard really needed some buffs. So yeah, good job, guys. This is so stupid. Joachim the Vet. This is a buff or nerf? Like, okay, you're not going to give extra 1 point to your opponent if you cool this card now. So that seems like a buff, but I'm glad that dumb Nilfgaard players didn't make this a 9 provision card, because I know people were pushing this card to be a 9 provision card, and I was like, whoa, these guys are like stupid. But okay. Provision in imagine Nilfgaard skipping this. Okay, provision decrease. Eternal Eclipse, sure, this card actually should not be 15 provisions. I actually said it in my previous video, and I think this is completely fine. Yes, but yeah, this card really needed desperate fixing, you know, because China or whoever community was voting for, Nilfgaard really had a fan base that only plays cultists, and they really wanted Eternal Eclipse to be back. Like, guys, the game has hundreds of cards that are not been played, which are like powercrept, and you guys want to go revert Nilfgaard changes again. Good job. Wilgefortz. This actually is a fine change. I know even I wanted this to be a 9p change. This is the only Nilfgaard change I actually like in this thing. But if me or anybody in the community wants to nerf Wilgefortz, I think the best way to go is like by his power, not provisions. So make him like 3 will be fine, or 4 will be fine. I think 3 will be too much, but 4 will be fine. Especially the new Wilgefortz sucks. He summons a bronze unit. That's just very meh. You rather not play him in your deck. It's kind of bad. Thirsty Dame and Slave Driver. Okay, let's go with Slave Driver. So, like I said, I'm so happy seeing this change. And then so sad because these both cards are basically the same, but look at the difference. Nilfgaard has 1 extra tempo to go with it, and it's on deploy, and the reverse scouts are on order. Like I said again, Nilfgaard players are so desperate to get all their good cards back, and they don't give a shit about the game. Absolutely not. So this went back to 5p, which is so stupid, like so stupid and desperate. Like, you know, Nilfgaard players are so sweaty, dude. Thirsty Dame. So in my previous council video, I explained why this card should be a 6 provision card, and I still stick by it. This card is as good as Foglet's Messenger of the Sea or Proto-Fleder in a ball deck. That is why this deserves to be a 6p card. And the ball decks are so strong that they have multiple engines to be removed. You can't even touch this thing because you have to go kill Pikeman, you have to go kill Philip. You literally have to have control cards to just play around ball decks. And remember when the last patch note came and Nilfgaard players were crying that Nilfgaard is dead? Absolutely not. I was literally facing Nilfgaard every other match. Every single other match that I played on rank 1, rank 2 was literally Nilfgaard ball decks. Like, you guys are just fucking overreacting and all that. It's just so dumb. And what I really feel sad is the community like members like me, Moshcraft, Shinmiri, Lionheart, Kung Fu Rabbit, who am I missing? Lirio, all of us really give creative changes for the Balance Council. Like, we really want certain underplayed cards to be buffed and all. But then what happens is there is enough votes in the community for Nilfgaard players just to make this game so miserable for the rest of us, right? Like, I'll tell you my vote. If I hated Nilfgaard, I could have just gone and just made Nilfgaard bad. Instead, I was like, you know what? There are some cards that need power buffs in this game, and we should go and help them out. For example, I know Moshcraft and his community was gonna vote for Ethereal and Murlega. Dude, they don't even show up. Like, that's insane. And all critters got buffed. You know how dumb that sounds? And I voted for Sarah and Johnny, and that didn't go through. Like, okay, that's fine, it's my vote, and there are only few people who voted for this. I'm completely fine. Then there's like Moshcraft, who has like a big community who will support him and stuff, and they voted for this, and this didn't go through. Like, and to see all critters going through, that's insane. Like, which community voted for that? That's what I'm so surprised about. Like, I know Chinese community has voted for all the Nilfgaard changes because you guys are like so desperate. Yeah, what I concluded is that most of the content creators who are just pushing for Nilfgaard are not in for the game. Like, they don't give a shit about the game. They just want monetization and revenue from the wacky decks that they can create from Nilfgaard, because Nilfgaard is the most fun and wacky deck to play for more content. Especially even in mine, when I post a Nilfgaard video, I literally get a lot of subscribers from it. And people really like when I play Nilfgaard decks. And I know that because it's my data, I can see that. And so people who vote for Nilfgaard just want pure fun for themselves. They don't give a shit about the game. Like, I have less than 500 subscribers. I get nothing for making these videos. I just do it for fun, and I love deck building, and I like sharing with you guys. And some of you really interact with me and talk to me and ask me doubts about cards, which is so wonderful, and I appreciate it a lot. But this is coming from a pure passion side of me for Gwent. And just to see like really stupid, brainless content creators who just give a shit about revenue and money just to like, oh, buff Nilfgaard, nerf Saskia. Really, like, you wanted to go for Saskia because she's like 1 power extra. Like, it's so dumb. Like, you know, Saskia being back to 4 doesn't change anything, really. Because you as a Nilfgaard player is not putting your what's the card's name? Assassination. Oh, you can't kill her now. Now you're forced to put assassination or treason in your deck just to deal with Saskia, and you can't do that, so you need to buff other Nilfgaard cards. And I hate to talk about Nilfgaard, right? I really hate to always rant about Nilfgaard, and because, dude, I want this whole game to be a better experience for everybody. So yeah, this is my patch note review. Like, I really don't feel like even playing Gwent after reading it. It's such a dumb thing, and I really hope developers do something to fix this shit, because what happens is it's going to be a tug of war, right? Every other season now people are gonna go for nerfing Nilfgaard, and the next month people are gonna buff Nilfgaard, then few cards like this will get in, like good change. That's it. There's only one good change in the entire things, or this is a revert, so I'm not counting it. I'm talking about proper change. This got a change which is good, this got a change which is unnecessary, but okay, sure. And this community needs their priorities, right? It's such a dumb card to vote for. You have you guys seen this thing? Please just don't listen to content creators, especially if they're just like, oh, you know what, let's just troll the community by fucking voting for O critters, right? Really, you know how many cards there are I can open in this thing? Look, okay, I'll just say stop. Okay, okay, it just literally went to Johnny and Sarah. In this thing, look at this. Needs buff. This is so underplayed. Okay, let's just stop. Okay, what needs buff here? Yeah, kinda needs buff. If you give her 1 power, that's pretty good. I think it needs a provision buff. This card is also underplayed, but this is a good card. I don't think this should be buffed, but yeah, there you go. There's so many cards in the game that really needs buff, but then you all were like, oh, you know what, guys? I think the saddest part is we can't play Oak Critters. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna play Overwatch or something. I'll make content. Look at how many decks are here that I've created for you guys. So many decks. But yeah, I'll go play Overwatch or Elden Ring or something. See you guys later.